By New York Life. With the right guidance, everyone can be good at life. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Back in Louisville, Kentucky, just moments away from the start of our game between the Cards and the Pack. It is time for the Food Lion starting lineup. We told you about Dennis Smith Jr. for NC State, but Abdul Malik Abu, the junior from Boston, Massachusetts, had 19 points and went 8 of 12 from the floor in that win at Duke, the upset win on Monday for NC State. Right now, time to take a look at our Carolina Ford keys to the game with Dan Bonner.
Louisville specializes in the 8-0, 10-0 run. North Carolina State cannot allow that. They have to stay connected. And speaking of staying connected, Louisville has to menace Dennis Smith. They've got to stay in front of him. They've got to make him a jump shooter. They cannot let him get into the lane.
I see what you did there, Dan Bonner. Nice little play on words. It is a whiteout inside the KFC Yum Center, and Rick Pitino with the winter white window pane. Sport jacket is ready to go. Mark Gottfried at the other end of the court. Gottfried this year, 400th victory in his career. NC State with the basketball there in the red. A long three-pointer is good as Terry Henderson gets us rolling.
That's an extremely important shot for North Carolina State early. Henderson shot almost 42% from beyond the arc in the non-conference portion of the schedule, down at about 32 in conference play.
Mahmoud on the drive, ball's available, and here's Smith Jr.
Louisville starts in that matchup zone of theirs. The idea being you've got to take away the penetration, particularly by Smith.
Smith averages 19.5 points per game. Best among freshmen. Maverick Rowan tees up the three for NC State.
And part of the problem is when you concentrate so hard on taking away that penetration by Smith, you've got to give up something. And if you're going to give away a three, you can't give it to Rowan.
Rowan made a couple of threes on Monday at Duke in the upset victory for the sophomore.
North Carolina State starts in the zone, something they've used effectively, and Donovan Mitchell, he has really heated up from beyond the three-point arc.
Donovan Mitchell is 46-3 of the season, 35% from beyond the arc, and just over 14 points per game to lead the way for the Louisville Cardinals for the sophomore. Shot clock is down to 5 for Yurt 7. Working on the block. Mahmoud was defending and picked up the personal foul for the Cards.
Looked like Louisville was back in more of a man-to-man that time. Nice job to get the ball inside to Yurt 7. That's a really interesting matchup in there. Yurt 7, as you look at him, he is not like a really bulky guy. And right at the moment, he's a little bit better, I think, in a finesse kind of game than a thump kind of an affair. Be interesting to see how he plays against Mahmoud today.
He's a player who became eligible to play for the Pack in mid-December. Missed the first 9 games of the season. And a freshman from Istanbul, Turkey.
And NC State, they're only shooting about 63% from the free throw line in conference play. They're going to have to be better than that if they expect to win on the road today.
Louisville won Tuesday at Pittsburgh, 106-51. Mitchell hoists another three, and he's on target.
That time it was Levitz creating the penetration, and I don't think you can leave Mitchell out there.
David Levitch making his second career start in the lineup for Rick Pitino.
I think if I'm NC State, I'd rather have Levitch going to the basket than Mitchell getting an open three.
Henderson the entry. Yurt 7 turns around and drops it in.
Boy, he had Levitch on him. Nice recognition by NC State to find that mismatch inside.
Louisville's won 5 of its last 6 games, all wins in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and 6 of their last 8 overall. Mitchell again, Dan, come up short, follows his own miss and lays it in.
Louisville's an outstanding offensive rebounding team, and that time Abdul Malik Aboud, and he just didn't block out.
Henderson loses control. Up ahead to Levitch. Trying to drop it off to Mitchell. It is off of Henderson. Louisville basketball.
And Mitchell is a guy who's noted for his athleticism, his ability to drive the ball to the basket. But there you see the penetration. And this, he gets the jump shot off, and as soon as he hits the deck, he's following that shot, and Aboud just didn't block him out.
Mitchell made 6 3-pointers on 8 attempts at Pittsburgh on Tuesday, in collecting 29 points as Mahmoud goes to the Louisville bench. Adele on the inbounds to Mitchell, right back to him. It's a 3. Weak side Levitch. Mitchell. 3-ball. Steal. Mitchell couldn't save it.
Boy, that was some play by Mitchell, knocking that ball away. He's got all Louisville's points.
Pack breaks the pressure to Rowan, pulls up short.
He never got his feet established, and that's one of the things that Louisville pressure can do. Can make you play just a little bit faster than you want to play.
Louisville held Pittsburgh to 25% from the floor on Tuesday. He gave up only 51 points. Loose ball. Matt Dieng, Levitch to the deck. Smith also.
And Smith's going to pick up a foul.
First on Smith. How about Donovan Mitchell? 3 of 4 from 3-point range at 11 points. He's got them all for the Cards.
What you do is you come out and you score your team's first 11 points. And Mitchell, he's knocked it down from 3 here. He misses a 3, but takes and follows the ball to the basket. Mitchell has been everywhere. Here again, launches another 3. He also had a near steal. And you saw him there with the offensive rebound. That's one of 3 offensive rebounds for the Cardinals so far. And they've scored 5 points as a result of those offensive rebounds. And Mitchell certainly has exerted some control over this game early.
He is already into double figures, now the 8th time in the last 9 games that he's done that. Had a poor performance against Florida State with just 6 points. And the ball's going to the Pack. There was a stumble near the lane.
Yeah, a stumble that results in a traveling violation. North Carolina State, they've made 3 of their 4 shots, but the problem is they've turned it over and they've given up those 3 offensive rebounds. And you talk about guys who had good games their last time out. Ted Capiti, is he coming into the game? He had 14 points and 10 rebounds against Duke after having scored a grand total of 4 points in the ACC schedule up to that point.
Absolutely amazing, his performance. And he was 6 of 7 from the floor and got 10 rebounds, as Dan mentioned. Shot clock is at 10 for Smith. Little hesitation. Rowan tries to bail him out. That was deflected. DJ King got a piece of it.
Louisville's guys have long arms at every single position, and you just cannot assume you're going to be able to shoot it over them.
Drop off inside. Johnson missed. King got it back just inside the free throw line, but prior to the shot, a traveling violation.
That's a break for North Carolina State, because once again, Louisville gets the offensive rebound. Rick Pitino's very upset. He thinks that King did not have possession of the ball. If you don't have possession of the ball, you can't travel with it.
Brian Dorsey, Tony Chiazza, Lee Cassell, our officiating crew for this afternoon. So glad that you're with us on the ACC Network. Tom Wormy and Dan Bonner, and our outstanding production crew here in Louisville. You're at 7 trying to establish position, and King will come away with it.
And he's lucky he didn't get called for a foul. He's going to get called for a foul on this end. He bumped Johnson down on the other end to create space. And And that, if you're a 7-footer and you create that kind of space down on the inside, you really need to convert that basket. And that's the foul right there. You can see just in the top left of your screen, he puts his knee in the backside of Johnson and backs him and pushes him out of there. Don't leave him alone.
Oh, quick trigger! And he hits again.
You'd think by now he would have lost the element of surprise. You sort of have to find him, don't you?
Fourth three-pointer of the game. We're just about 6 minutes in. NC State started 3 for 3 from the floor. They've missed their last 3. That one knocked away and taken by Johnson. Closing speed on Capita. Stolen back by Smith. He's 1 on 4. Tries to lay it in and misses.
But he was looking at the defense instead of looking at the basket.
King goes all the way to the rim, and there's contact and a foul.
You know, one of the problems is you have Maverick Rowan. He goes out to try to cover Levitch, and again, I think I leave Levitch alone if Donovan Mitchell's in the neighborhood. But they're playing in that zone defense, and the rotation just was not very good. And if you're going to leave a guy alone, at least in this game, it can't be Donovan Mitchell.
E.J. King is 82% from the line.
Well, that breaks the streak. Because up to that point, Mitchell had scored all the points.
It's a pretty good day thus far.
Pretty good start.
5 for 6 from the floor. Now he's got 10 threes combined in about a game and a half. Of course, everybody was in the box score against Pittsburgh. A season high 106 points from the Cards with Mitchell on the bench.
What do we talk about? Louisville and their capacity to put together runs. They're on a 10-0 run right now. Oh my.
Long deflection out of bounds. Wolfpack basketball.
And again, that's a symptom of playing a little bit faster than you want to play. North Carolina State doesn't mind playing at an up-tempo pace. They score a lot of points, but they just got going a little too quickly right there.
Mark Gottfried's team trying to interrupt that run, further broken down to a 10-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And now the officials are at the scorer's table.
I think there's some question about the clock.
Brian Dorsey and Lee Cassell over at the table. There's the Hall of Famer Rick Pitino.
It's an interesting challenge for him. He lost Quentin Snyder, his point guard, who's out with that strained hip flexor, and they think that he's going to be not even able to do any conditioning for about another week, and then they expect maybe a week after that. There's Snyder. And not only Snyder unavailable, but so is Tony Hicks. So basically those are your 2 point guards.
Hicks with a broken bone in his right hand in the Pittsburgh game. He did tape it up and play the remainder of the game, but could be out 6 to 8 weeks.
And you saw the runs, 42 of 8-0 or better so far this year.
Rowan let the defender slide on by, front rim.
Louisville so far doing a great job putting pressure on the NC State shooters. They're not really getting clean looks at the basket.
Off the glass and good. Mango Metier.
He's another guy who over the recent games has really stepped up his game.
Averaging a double-double over his last 3 games for Metier. 11 points and 10 rebounds. And there is a timeout on the court. Louisville with the 18-9 advantage. 13 minutes even to go in our first half. Our innovative play is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, your first round draft pick. Put car insurance, man.
And then we're talking about the Louisville four-court pressure. Here you deny the ball to the 2 guards, the guys who are your ball handlers. You make a non-ball handler handle the ball here, and Ryan Luther from Pittsburgh dribbles the ball off his leg. And here again, you get a situation where you're guarding the 2 ball handlers. This time there's no help coming, and the result is a 5-second violation. So the Louisville defense, they can get you playing faster than you want to play. They can deny the ball. They can make non-ball handlers handle the ball, which is why they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. And that defense has keyed this big run here that has them up 9 against NC State.
They are the best in the ACC at holding down the opposition. 37% shooting from opposing teams. Smith misses. Palmer the rebound, and now Mitchell. And Smith is yet to get in the box score. Out of the corner, it's a 3. It comes up short for McMahon.
Boy, and NC State really struggling getting the defensive rebounds. VJ King got his hand on that one.
Abu.
Now, Abu can shoot the jump shot, but I don't know that just inside the three-point arc is what Mark Gottfried wants to see from him.
Now the scoring drought is over 5 minutes for NC State.
Scott Van Pelt
has joined the conference.
NC State in danger of getting blown out here.
Smith has nowhere to go. Tries to force his way to the basket. The ball goes out of bounds and to the Cardinals.
13-0 run keyed by three-point shooting. A great pass across the zone by Mitchell. Big lead for the Cardinals.
Working hard, being diligent, being honest. A lot of the virtues you try and teach your own children, you teach as a coach.
That was our PNC Coach's Insight with head coach Rick Pitino in his 16th season at Louisville. 12 of the last 14 years to the NCAA tournament, and that includes 2013, the national championship, where they won 35 games on their way to the title. First coach to go to that national championship with 2 different schools. Steal by Smith, and he'll lay it in. And he finally breaks through with a bucket.
And that's one of the reasons why NC State is struggling. Dennis Smith, if he doesn't score, the Wolfpack are in deep, deep trouble.
That stopped a 15-0 run by the Cardinals.
And now you got to climb your way back in. There's still more than 11 minutes left in the half. You got to tighten up on the defensive end. And Louisville, you got to know that that's what McMahon is in there to do, to shoot the 3. Almost every one of his baskets are three-point shots.
6 of 9 as a team. From beyond 20 feet, 9 inches away. Strong move on the baseline, and that's a move.
And that's really the first time we've seen North Carolina State take the ball and drive it to the basket. And Abu is a guy who can take the ball to the basket and finish inside. You don't want to settle for those outside jump shots.
All the way to the rim and up and under. Mathieu for the Cards.
That was just poor defense that time. A simple screen and roll, and Capita did not handle it very well at all. Results a layup.
4 points now for Mathieu. Mitchell leads the way with 14 points, and that includes 4 3-pointers. Abu trying to get around Mathieu. Unsuccessfully. McMahon had it for a second, and then out of bounds right in front of Coach Pitino.
Louisville really moving the ball well, and here's McMahon just he's just open. They don't do a good job at all. Now here comes Capita, and he actually runs into his own man, and that leaves Mathieu all alone. So Louisville's getting some open opportunities, but you have to say that the defense by North Carolina State has not been exactly solid to this point.
Fouls on Mathieu.
And that three-point shooting number we just showed you, they have not been contested threes. Guys have been all alone.
They are 6 of 9. Dan, as a team, coming into today, 35% from three-point range, the bottom of the conference. Different story this afternoon against NC State. Smith has an alleyway. Deflected away by Spalding and out of bounds.
And I think if you're Smith, you cannot be intimidated by the fact that they're going to block your shots. I think you still have to drive the ball to the basket, because that's where he can be most effective. In this particular situation, there's just too many big guys.
Fouls against Louisville. And McMahon.
Well, McMahon, the rule is you have to have both feet on the floor facing the dribble. That's establishing guarding position, and then you're allowed to move to maintain that position.
McMahon again. And now I believe a technical foul has been assessed.
But I think it's been assessed against Dennis Smith. So McMahon picked up the foul for forcing Smith out of bounds, and then Smith said something. I don't know whether it was to McMahon or to the official, but they just popped him with a technical foul.
Brian Dorsey made the call right in front of the Louisville bench.
See, there he's got it. He thinks he's going to try to call timeout, but Lee Cassell, the official at the scorer's table, called the foul. There's the push. I did not see what happened. But that is a Class A technical foul, and so that counts as a personal foul as well. So now he has 2 fouls.
Mitchell made both of the technical free throws at the other end, and now we'll move back to the NC State side of the court as they attack that rim to our right, and they've got possession. So Smith is in there with 2 personal fouls, Dan, just 2 points, 1 of 4 from the floor.
The game here is at a critical stage. North Carolina State has to mount some sort of a comeback here, and they've got to do it right now. So I don't think you can take Smith out of the game.
Well, that was a strong drive right there, aggressively to the rack for 2.
And of course, you know, Smith has to be aggressive, but with those 2 fouls, if he gets a charge, then obviously that's number 3. Well, I think if you see North Carolina State cut into this lead a little bit, then Smith will go out.
Adele turned it over. Johnson, hand off to Henderson. Smith is open for 3.
I think you have to try to probe inside at least a little bit. You've got to get a ball involved in the game. Here's the last possession. You can see he's surrounded by white shirts, but nobody able to get in front. North Carolina State, they're in the man-to-man now.
13-point lead for Louisville. Palmer turns around and shoots. You're at 7 the clearance. Henderson trying to work quickly. And it looked like Spalding. Spalding got tangled up with Henderson.
I think when you attack, that's one of the results. You can get the other team in foul trouble.
Don't forget Wednesday. A couple of great matchups. Virginia Tech at Virginia or Florida State at Miami. Florida State beaten at the Carrier Dome yesterday, and then Miami beats North Carolina also yesterday. Among the unpredictable results in the ACC. Each and every night they hit the court, it seems.
Hard to win on the road.
Henderson was reaching in.
I think if you're Henderson, you just have to move your feet, and if Adele is going to rise up and shoot the 3-point shot off the dribble, then you just have to live with that.
Virginia has an early lead against Villanova as they step out of conference today. That's a foul against Louisville. Looked like it was Johnson.
Well, that's been a point of emphasis for the officials all year long, the illegal screen. You've got to get yourself established. You can't be moving.
The win on Monday was the 400th in the career of Mark Gottfried. But how much does NC State have left? They've had a few days to regroup and soak in that fantastic upset win, first since '95 in Durham. And Maverick Rowan rattles home a 3.
Nice job by Rowan to get his feet set quickly.
Louisville has taken a timeout with 8:02 to go in the first half.
Well, keep in mind that this is a North Carolina State team that can put points on the board quickly. Smith out of the game. Rowan is the guy who came in for him. 10-point ball game.
Accommodations and tickets to every game for you and a guest, all courtesy of Haviland. Enter today at the ACC.com/Haviland. We're on our way to the Barclays Center.
And there's Dennis Smith Jr. sitting on the bench. He's got those 2 personal fouls. We said one of the keys to the game for Louisville was to put some pressure on him. In fact, menace Dennis, and they've done that so far. He's only 2 for 6. He's missed both of his 3-point attempts. I say he's got those 2 personal fouls, only has 4 points.
It's going to be Markel Johnson. First on Johnson.
He's trying to guard Donovan Mitchell, and I think if I was going to hang on to somebody, it would be Donovan Mitchell. He's got 16 points in the game.
Mitchell's only missed 1 shot, 5 of 6 from the floor. That includes 4 3-point baskets. Adele, that might have been deflected. It was not. Out of bounds. And to NC State as the shot came up well short.
And the only shot that Mitchell missed, he got his offensive rebound and scored. Now NC State's got to get their offense rolling without Dennis Smith.
Is it Rowan? It is not. Weak side Mitchell. Levitch.
Boy. What's that, 7 for 10 from beyond the arc?
7 makes, Dan. 11 attempts.
Wide open.
Henderson wants a 3 in response, and he's got it.
They made that 3-point shot, but I really think that North Carolina State has to take the ball inside. You got to get Abu involved.
Abu has 2 points. NC State has 4 made 3-pointers in this game after the shot by Henderson. Mitchell backs it out. Inside of 7 minutes to go in the first half.
Pack started the game in a zone. They've been playing man-to-man recently.
Matt Yang, couple of moves. Back iron and Abu.
That's just great defense. Just stay between your man and the ball. Keep your hands up. It's tough to shoot over a 7-footer.
Abu had it blocked but was also fouled.
And Mitchell is a guy who is expected to do a lot of things for Louisville. And here he just brings the ball up the court. And even though he's losing it, he's still able to find his teammate in transition. And I know 7 for 11 is a very high percentage from beyond the 3-point arc, but every single one of Louisville's 3-point attempts has been wide open.
B.J. King returns for Louisville. Spalding leads. He picked up that last foul against Abu, so that was his second, so he's on the bench.
Abu, pretty good 3-point shooter. He just doesn't have very many attempts.
20th all-time meeting between these two programs. Louisville holds a slight edge, 10-9. King is short. Mitchell is there. Fresh shot clock.
Boy, everybody just ran away from the rebound like somebody else was going to get it, and somebody else did. It was Donovan Mitchell.
Adele. Driving. The kick to Mitchell.
I mean, that's like shooting in an empty gym. There's just nobody anywhere around.
5 3-pointers in the first half for the sophomore, Donovan Mitchell. Leads everybody with 19 points. A near steal, Abu trying to gather. He does. Driving in and laying it up and in is Abu. Louisville went on the road last year and won at NC State in early January, 77-72.
NC State won here 2 years ago. How did he get that rebound? That's the smallest guy on the court.
Oh, traveling.
Been talking about Donovan Mitchell. He just runs to the open spot, and Deng Adele drives to the baseline. He's wide open, and now here's Abu. This is a scramble, and finally Abu is the first guy to pick up the ball rather than just try to dribble it, and he takes it right to the goal. NC State needs much more of that.
Mitchell has poured in 19 points.
And keep in mind that Dennis Smith is sitting on the bench with those 2 personal fouls.
Mitchell again thinking about adding to the total, and he will.
Yeah, he just used that little spin dribble to create enough space against Markel Johnson, who's only 6'1". And even though Johnson was relatively close, he just can't get his hands up high enough to contest that jump shot from Mitchell.
How about 21 points for Mitchell? You're at 7 backing in. Rowan came in as well. Couldn't grab it. Here's Adele.
That's where you're at 7 just lacks a little bit of strength inside.
Mitchell's now gone over 20 points. 5 times this year, all in ACC play. King on the drive, and there's contact. Rowan was defending.
Louisville has done a great job in the first half, moving players, moving the basketball. That's just a great job by King. He gets a little bit of space between he and Rowan, is able to turn the corner and get all the way to the basket.
Levitch walking back in for Louisville. Mitchell's going to get a breather with 4:17 to go in the half. 21 points, 7 of 8 from the floor and 5 of 6.
And Dennis Smith back in the game despite those 2 personal fouls. And again, I think this is just evidence of how critical this part of the game is. Louisville's threatening to really pull away. North Carolina State has to try to stay close, and so you've got to risk Smith in the ball game with those 2 fouls.
Smith has 4 points on 2 of 6 shooting and has misfired on both attempts from 3-point territory.
You know, I don't know that he needs to score 32 every night for NC State to be successful, but he certainly needs more than 4.
Shot clock down to 6 and stolen by the Cards. Johnson. Levitch to Adele in rhythm. Out of bounds. NC State basketball.
The story of this first half, quite simply, has been Donovan Mitchell. Just a nice little spin off the dribble. Big lead.
Update. Mellow Mushroom Pizza is delicious, and the game is a lot of fun. Go check it out. Smith on the runner. Maybe he was trying to leave it on the rim for Capita. Either way, Louisville stepped on the baseline as Jalen Johnson tried to get away with the ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure that even he's sure what he was trying to do. I think he went up for a shot and saw Capita and a boo under there and tried to lob it up. Didn't work either way.
It's a pretty spin, too far under the rim. Ball came right back at him, and Mitchell got it.
See, when he does that and draws the defense, his teammates have to get in position where he can see them and get them the ball.
Adele. Well defended by Capita. Now just over 3 minutes to go in the half. The turnaround baseline, a boo.
And with as much as NC State has struggled, they're actually only down by 12 points. If they can put together a little run here in the last 2 minutes, 50 seconds of this first half, then they have to feel pretty good about themselves, because it has been a tough first half for the Wolfpack.
Boo is now the leading scorer after that basket with 7 points in the first half for NC State. Shot clock for Louisville's at 5. Levitch from way away. And the long rebound to Rowan.
But that was good defense. That was a long shot, and Abu was running at him. So nice job by the Wolfpack to contest that 3-point shot. Now can they convert down on this end?
Abu tries the other side, and he's on the money.
That's where the ball needs to go. This is what we're talking about. It's 10. You can string together a couple more stops. Going to feel a lot better about yourself heading into the locker room at halftime.
Last 7 points for the Pack from Abu. Johnson on the block. Abu defends. Cannot stop Johnson.
But Johnson is a big, powerful guy on the inside.
6'9", 230 pounds. Turnover for the Cards. 2-on-2 action. Adele lost the handle. It tracks it down. Now Levitch wide open for 3.
Boy, and Mark Godfrey just shakes his head and walks down to the end of the bench. His team has it within 10. They look like they're doing okay. And now suddenly it's 15.
Foul at the other end. It was the second three of the game for Levitt, wide open.
Well, Maverick Rowan just dribbles into traffic. Not a whole lot that anybody can do right there. And then here's Deng Adele. He loses the dribble but comes up with it. I don't know what Maverick Rowan was doing. He was out there, wasn't guarding anybody, and Levitt, he gets in a situation where he is all alone again.
Coming up on the Hardy's halftime report, we'll break down a crazy upset Saturday in the ACC. That plus highlights and stats from our first half on the Hardy's halftime report.
Certainly an interesting Saturday. This goes to show you can't count on anything in this season's Atlantic Coast Conference. How about Luke Kennard getting 30 points in the second half?
That game against Wake going right down to the wire in Winston-Salem. Duke prevailing. Adele the entry. Jalen Johnson. Levitt again. Mahmoud tried to save it from Louisville. Here's Smith. Now 45 seconds to go in the half. 4 points for Smith inside to Abu, uncontested. Abu coming on strong. 11 points.
Abu has been very active. He's a high energy guy anyway. But he has been extremely active. He's helping keep NC State in this one. I think now he's going to pick up a foul. Pushing inside against Johnson.
That's the first on Abu.
We mentioned Johnson, 6'9", 230 pounds. When he takes root in there, it's hard to move him. You see Smith going to the bench. He's got those 2 personal fouls. He did a nice job. He played a lot of time in this first half after picking up that second foul on the technical.
Still just 4 points for the Pack's leading scorer.
And Mark Godfrey has to be a little frustrated. His guys started very poorly, but they battled back to within 10 and then turned it over a couple times, and Louisville built it right back to 15. That's where it is right now.
Did pretty good for a 61% free throw shooter. Jay Henderson will come into the game for Louisville. 23.1 seconds remaining. Corin Dorn also on the court now for NC State. Ten seconds now. Capita, pass Mahmoud, foul and bucket. Ted Capita, chance at a three-point play.
Now we talked about Capita and the big game he had against Duke. This time he just gets a fake and is able to get his body enough past Mahmoud to get himself to the basket. That is a great, strong move against one of the better shot blockers in the ACC.
Not a lot of opportunities at the line for Capita. Just his 22nd of the season.
But the way he's played in the first half, you half expected that one to go in.
What a half for Mitchell. 21 points and 5 3-pointers. The Hardy's halftime report is straight ahead from Louisville, Kentucky.
You by Geico, saving people money for over 75 years. By your Carolina Ford dealers. By Gatorade, win from within. And by Bojangles, it's bow time.
The Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory, and they were kind enough to fashion a bat for the ACC Network to commemorate our game today. NC State and Louisville. Take a look at some of the action from the first 20 minutes, and it might be Donovan dominated by that guy, Donovan Mitchell.
Well, Donovan Mitchell had himself quite the half. He made 5 3-point baskets, only missed 1 shot in the first half. This is it. He missed a 3, and what does he do? He goes and he gets his own rebound and scores. Mitchell with 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal in the first half. In fact, Louisville, we already mentioned it, they made 9 3-point field goals. Mitchell made 5 of them. Levitch made 2 there. B.J. King makes 1, and Ryan McMahon also made 1. There's Levitch knocking it down. And as we said, particularly early in the half, those threes were wide open. And Dennis Smith Jr., well, after that great performance he had against Duke the other night, he really has struggled. Has spent some time on the bench in foul trouble. Just everywhere he's gone, he's been surrounded. And he picked up a technical foul. Here's he and Mark Gottfried and Brian Dorsey discussing the technical foul, but he said something to someone over there on the other side of the court, and they lit him up with the technical, and that seemed to take some of the juice away.
Louisville starts with possession, 14-1 on the season, and they maintain the halftime lead.
NC State in the man-to-man. Nice job that time preventing the dribble penetration, getting out to cover the shooter.
Mathiang over Yurt-7.
And we mentioned that over his last 3 games, Mathiang averaging a double-double. Really healthy for the first time this year, and there NC State throws it away.
Up to Mitchell. Gives it off. Johnson missed the layup, but the follow's there from Mathiang.
That is not the way you wanted to start the second half if you're the Wolfpack.
First half has been good for Mitchell.
I accepted that
except
game.
Florida State.
Except Florida State.
Exactly. Just 6 points, and that's your 1 loss in those last 6 conference games. Abu turns around. Halfway down and out. You're at 7 offensive glass over the front rim.
That is the first second chance bucket that North Carolina State has scored today, and lots of times if the ball isn't going in the basket, you got to do it different ways. So getting some offensive rebounds and scoring might be a way to get the offense jump started.
Yurt-7 has 5 points. Mitchell driving and using the glass,
and that's what his reputation is. He's a big, strong kid, and when he takes it to the basket, particularly when he get those shoulders around the defender, he is hard to stop.
Levitch to the court, got tied up with Henderson. The arrow is going to favor the Wolfpack.
Now Mitchell, he uses the screen and he just takes his body right into Yurt-7, and nothing Yurt-7 can do about it, even though he's 7 feet tall. And North Carolina State very fortunate that they didn't lose the ball here on the inbounds play.
Markel Johnson brings it up. Levitch getting his 2nd career start today, has played some inspired basketball for head coach Rick Pitino.
One of the things he's done is he's really played hard. They're going to get Mathiang there, and that we've seen NC State do that a couple of times today, try to bring Rowan off that high screen and get him open for a 3, but it's been very well defended. And Rowan's a good 3-point shooter, but I'm not sure that anybody's a good 3-point shooter when you're always shooting contested jump shots.
Saw that Virginia has a 9-point lead, halftime against Villanova. Rowan trying to make his move out of the corner, and he got tied up with Levitch. That's the 2nd on David Levitch, who has a couple of 3-pointers in the game. He came into today making just 9 threes, but has connected twice on the offensive end.
But it's just hard to get the ball in bounds.
Abu shoved his defender out of the way. Adele hit the deck, and it's an offensive foul.
I think Abu's in good shape until this arm comes flying out there. Watch the left arm. Out it goes, and down goes Deng Adele. And that's right in front of the official. That's automatic.
Mark Gottfried, who before last year had taken his team to the NCAA tournament 4 straight seasons. Look out! Mahmoud!
It's a mistake to lose track of the 7-foot guy with the ball at the top of the key.
Mahmoud just destroyed the rim figuratively. That's into the backcourt. And a violation against the Wolfpack.
And how does a guy like Mahmoud get this open? You're at 7, he's pointing and talking, but totally loses his man. Oh my.
Anas Mahmoud rocking that rim. Trino enjoying a Sunday afternoon inside the KFC Yum Center. His quarterback Lamar Jackson winning the Heisman Trophy this year. So the Heisman and the National Championship both residing in the ACC, with Clemson's thrilling win against the Alabama Crimson Tide.
NC State has gone back to the zone defense.
Levitch.
Wolfpack have really had a tough time on the defensive end today.
Adele for 3.
And once again, just wide open.
11-2 run for Louisville.
Well, you're 7 bringing the ball up the court. He thought he was comfortable, and then Donovan Mitchell closes very quickly. Louisville playing very aggressively on both ends of the court today. Still a lot of time left for North Carolina State, but they have to get something going.
Mahmoud tried to dribble it up and lost it to Johnson. He'll go straight to the rim, try to jam it, and Mitchell was up there to challenge, but the foul's on Mitchell.
Now I know Johnson at 6'1" went up there to challenge him, but Yerk 7 does not run down the court. I think this is an opportunity of Yerk 7. He's just coming into your picture now. If he runs hard, then it's an easy dunk. You just dump the ball to Yerk 7.
Just the 21st free throw attempt of the season for Markel Johnson. Capita returns for NC State. You're at 7. Comes out of the ball game.
Capita hopefully give him a little bit more energy.
Capita had 3 points in the first half for Mark Gottfried. Also was the head coach at Alabama and Murray State, taking those programs to the NCAA tournament. Great win for his program on Monday, but you're trying to follow it up and validate it here on the road against Louisville, and it is tough sledding. Shot clock is at 5. Mahmoud gave it up to Johnson. The collaboration between the big men.
Mahmoud is an excellent passer, and again, nearly a turnover on the inside, but Louisville hitting on all cylinders. The Wolfpack continues to struggle.
Enter to win a travel voucher, hotel accommodations, and tickets at theacc.com/VIP.
Boy. Pretty effective shooting for Louisville today, wouldn't you say?
They've made their last 5 shots, Dan. NC State, they did make a run at Duke. They finished on a 20-5 run. They were down 9 points with just under 7 minutes to go. Plenty of time to go in this half. But that's what they did on Monday against the Blue Devils for the comeback win, 84-82. Johnson was trying to shake 2 defenders, gave it to Capita.
Every time Smith has done anything, he's got guys all over him.
Shot clock runs out on the pack.
You know, when Smith gets the ball and he uses the screen, Louisville's just sending both guys. That's the 4th turnover this half for NC State, but Smith just can't get anything going. He goes off a screen. He's got 2 guys looking right at him.
Adele the follow-away. Smith is 2 of 8 from the floor, has missed both 3-point attempts.
And he hadn't taken a shot here in the second half.
NC State as a team is just 1 for 4 from the floor in the half. Rowan misses. Abu got the board, but he fouled in the process.
That's the 3rd personal foul on Abu. He's the guy that helped get him back into it in the first half. He has not scored yet in the second half. NC State now has gone more than 4 minutes without scoring.
The lead is 21 for the Cards. Mitchell misses at the rim. Abu flips it up to Johnson.
Boy, and in this game, you're just surprised when Mitchell misses.
Hasn't missed much. 8 of 10 from the floor and 5 3-pointers. Leads everybody with 23 points. Johnson, stop and start. Capita couldn't complete the play. Abu has that one spin out. And NC State cannot buy a basket.
Those shots are close, Tom, but they're not easy because there are some big guys in there. There's Mahmoud at 6'9". Adele is right on top of you. There's Mahmoud again standing behind you. And Adele is 6'7". He's got those long arms.
This 21-point difference is the largest lead for the Cardinals. Rowan was fouled. Levitch clipped him. So third on Levitch, getting significant minutes today for Rick Pitino.
Well, and again, it's worth mentioning that Tony Hicks and Quentin Snyder are both out for the Cardinals. They're hoping Snyder, they can get him back in a couple of weeks, and with that hip flexor injury, and there's Snyder sitting on the bench along with Hicks. Hicks broke his hand. You can see he's got a cast on it, so he's going to be out a little bit longer. They're thinking at least a month.
Snyder was the leading scorer last year when Louisville went to NC State and won in early January. He had 21 points. A spectator today, missing his 4th consecutive game with that injury Dan outlined. 5 different Louisville players have 3-pointers in our game. Mitchell. Capita came over, contested the shot, and committed the foul.
And it's really a problem if you're North Carolina State. Mitchell has been so hot from out beyond the 3-point arc. You've got to get out there and contest him, and then he does what he does best, attack the basket. He's so quick with the basketball. And we mentioned he's so strong, 6'3", 195 pounds. And of that 195 pounds, I wouldn't guess that there's any fat at all.
Dan, Louisville has not missed a free throw today. After that one from Mitchell, 9 for 9. And they are not a good free throw shooting team. 68% as a team is 14th in the ACC.
And Tom, they're actually worse than that 65% in ACC competition. So they're hitting on all cylinders offensively in this ball game.
Their defensive pressure at times.
Well, there's 2 guys on Smith, so somebody has to be open, but there's so much pressure on Smith, he can't lift his head up to find the open man.
It is just suffocating at times.
And
although McMahon get the foul, Dan.
Well, and part of the problem is that his teammates, Smith's teammates, have to recognize that and give him an outlet. I know he's a great player, but you have to help him out.
32 points against Duke on Monday, 4 points today. Dennis Smith Jr. Rowan tried to work for a shot. Mahmoud played great defense, and now we're deep into the shot clock. 4 to go. And the foul is against NC State and Smith.
Against Smith, an offensive foul, pushed off with the arm. That's 3 personal fouls. And they're chasing him everywhere. And so there's 2 guys on him. Somebody has to be open. And they're having a whiteout here today at Louisville, and that's what Smith has seen is a whiteout. There's the white shirts all around him.
Capita deflected it. It was intended for Mahmoud. Here's Smith.
The other thing that Smith has not been able to do is get the ball and set sail down the court. He is so good in transition, gets the ball up the court so quickly. We just haven't seen that today.
Darius Hicks is into the game for NC State. He wears number 5. This is Capita. Double from Mitchell, who knocked it away. That ball ended up going out of bounds, and they'll stay at this end of the court with NC State. There are 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock for the Wolfpack.
Is there anything that Mitchell has not done today? We mentioned he's got 23 points. He's got 4 rebounds. He's got a couple of steals. He's got 3 assists.
Well, he hasn't blocked a shot yet, Dan, so there's something to aspire
always
to.
finding fault.
That's right. No, just trying to finish off his amazing, robust box score. And again, the shot clock runs out. No recognition, Dan.
That's 2 shot clock violations in this half, and Mark Gottfried, the expression on his face says it all. Just a very frustrating afternoon.
Inside of 12.5 minutes to go in the second half. Mitchell, Mahmoud, rejected by Capito. Strong block.
And even on that block, you see how quickly Louisville got back on defense, did not allow Smith the opportunity to really get going.
Levitch trying to stay with him. Got his own miss. Up against the bigger Mahmoud. Attempted save right in front of that NC State bench, and that was King. He was fouled. Darius Hicks, his first.
Well, Smith there, and Levitch does a great job. He just stays, that was McMahon, not Levitch, but just does a nice job moving his feet, staying in between Smith and the basket, forcing Smith to shoot over with a hand in his face. It's just been a struggle for Dennis Smith Jr. today.
He heads to the bench. Henderson in, 6 points for him. Smith to the bench, 2 of 10 from the floor and 4 points. Mitchell. Spalding gets it.
Louisville's been doing a great job moving without the ball all day. Spalding catches it. Big game. It's been a tough day all around for Dennis Smith Jr. The Louisville Cardinals have done a great job finding him. There's been a couple times where he's made very poor decisions. Here you can see he's surrounded by 4 guys. Here the ball just goes over off his leg. Just a little bit out of sorts today. Here he's going to get called for an offensive foul, pushing off as he drives into the lane. But again, everybody's in there, and of course, a little bit of frustration for him in the first half. You can see him there talking to the referee saying, what did I do? He got called for a technical foul.
Johnson accelerating. Mahmoud tried to get back defensively.
Well, this has been a tremendous defensive effort in the second half by Louisville. NC State with 6 turnovers, and they have as many turnovers in the second half as they have points.
3rd foul on Mahmoud.
And they've only scored 6 turnovers. They've got 6 points. It's hard to come back in a game when you're down by 12 at halftime. You only score 6 points in the first 9 minutes.
Abu was doubled. Mitchell in the passing lane. 1-on-2 as Capita hustles back. He got a piece of it, but up and in. DJ King to follow. And great hustle down the court.
So now, unfortunately for NC State, they have more turnovers than points in the second half, which is one reason they're behind by 25.
Dennis Smith Jr. has not had a game this year where he has not gotten to double figures. 11 is his lowest output, and that's happened 3 times. Right now, he stands with 4 points.
Well, Henderson hit a shot early for North. Oh, my. That's twice now they've just lost a big guy. You know, the last time they lost a 7-footer. This time, Mathiang, he's only 6'10", but still, he's hard to miss in there.
Well, he's got double figures now with 2 of the easiest points he's ever going to get.
Well, it's just, there's nobody there. You know, I was looking around to see if there was a whistle that blown.
5 of 6 from the floor, Dan. The Ram Power Play is brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. And this week's play comes from Boston College's Kai Bowman. Exciting new player in this league. Picks off the North Carolina pass, drives the length of the court, emphatic jam. The Eagles' upset bid fell short, but Bowman still finished with a team-high 33 points. The Ram Power Play brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. They've got Virginia Tech tonight for Boston College. They are one of the teams, Dan, in the lower third of the conference maybe last year, but it appears that most everybody is improved up and down the conference.
I don't think there's any question about that. In Boston College, unlike last year, they've got a number of different guys who can score. so they can stay in the game. And what we're seeing today, Tom, as we talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference, if you go out and you do not play well, you run the risk of really getting destroyed, and that's what's happening here today. Louisville is playing well. North Carolina State is not playing well, and as a result, North Carolina State is really struggling.
Boo with the slam for NC State, and now he's got 13 points. He's the only player for the Pack in double figures, leads the way, 6 of 9 from the floor.
And sometimes it doesn't help even when you do play well. Oh, why not? Thinking of playing well. Are you kidding?
I think Mitchell would be good at the downloadable app challenge with the shooting.
He doesn't need any downloadable app challenge.
Three-pointer back the other way. That's Henderson, yeah.
Well, Henderson hit a couple of those early in the game. Then we haven't heard from him in a while.
Well, he hasn't missed from three-point range, Dan. 3 of 3 for Henderson. Wrap-around pass. Spins off on the chance by Spalding.
Well, Spalding didn't finish, but you have to be impressed with the way the Louisville big guys pass the ball on the inside. Not only passing it to one another, but passing it out for jump shots.
Henderson tried again. Not this time. Louisville 53% as a team from the floor and 61% from three-point range.
Well, with the way they defend, they're not going to lose very many games. Doesn't matter how well or poorly the other team plays when they shoot the ball like that.
Spalding off the glass. And it's all working up right for Louisville.
Tom, you're absolutely right. That's the way it's gone for Louisville today. They miss a shot, they get the rebound, and here on the foul, they get a chance for a three-point play. And here's the possession before Mitchell. Zone just doesn't come out. And Abood, he's worried about Mitchell driving past him, so Mitchell just rises up and buries it.
So Mitchell has tied his career high for threes made in a game. By the way, Dan, you were talking about shooting so well and winning under Rick Pitino. Battle. Smith back in the game, wanted for NC State. Dorn will take a shot. Scramble continues.
Oh, what a play.
King. Adele. The lead is 30. Easy layup, Tangadell. 7 points for Adele. A whistle halts play for the moment. Just to finish my thought there, Dan. Under Rick Pitino, when this team shoots 50% or better from the floor, they are 133 and 6. I think they're going to be 134 and 6 with 8 minutes to go.
Well, Mitchell going to the bench. What a fabulous performance. 14-4 run over the last 3 minutes and 19 seconds. And the problem for the Wolfpack is they have not been able to answer those runs.
Dan, think about what Louisville has done in its last 2 games. On the road at Pittsburgh on Tuesday, they won the game 106-51, the largest margin in a victory for a road team in ACC history of 55 points, and they have dominated NC State today at home.
Obviously they're playing really well. We talked about will the momentum carry over, and clearly it has for Louisville.
Well, they made 12 threes against Pittsburgh. They've made 11 today on 18 chances from deep. With that whistle, we'll step aside for just a moment. Louisville rolling between the legs. Oh, it's all working. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. 25 brought to you by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Florida State leading the way, but that's going to change, Dan, because they lost at the Dome against Syracuse yesterday.
North Carolina, you figure they're going to move up, except they lost as well. And these teams are in pretty good shape, those top 6. But here's the rest of the teams in the conference, and let's focus on North Carolina State down there. An RPI of 69, a strength of schedule of 74. That's why this game today was such a big opportunity for them. You can get a road win against a really good team. That helps your RPI greatly. And what everybody's looking for now is you're trying to position yourself not only for the ACC tournament, but for that NCAA tournament. Do you have a sufficiently good resume that you can get yourself an at-large bid to the tournament? And NC State right now simply does not. Dennis Smith finally gets one to go. That's his first basket of the second half. As a conference, Dan, 13 of 15 teams in the ACC ranked in the top 70 in the RPI. Mitchell, a rare miss. Dorn went up for the rebound. Mitchell tried to follow that miss and committed the foul. Now, as we mentioned, the teams in the top 25, all these teams are in really good shape, barring some sort of disaster for any of them. They're certainly going to get bids to the NCAA tournament. But the ACC, as we've mentioned, is so deep, it's going to be, the league itself is going to have more than that. Louisville did not participate in postseason last year after going 23-8 during the regular season. Some sparkling wins on their resume against Indiana on a neutral court. Beat Kentucky in the 50th all-time meeting between those two programs. They lost 8 of 9 to Kentucky, but beat them 73-70. They beat Purdue. And also beat Purdue, ACC Big Ten Challenge. That's Dorn with the jam for NC State. And Dennis Smith that time picked up as the steal. Smith is valuable to North Carolina State in a lot of different ways other than just scoring, but North Carolina State is not going to be able to win a game where Smith only scored 6 points. Here, do you see Smith, leader in the ACC in steals, and an excellent pass. As I say, he does a lot of things besides scoring, but he has to score. Dress up as your favorite superhero. Today's coverage of ACC basketball being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. So proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Well, Rick Pitino and the fans of the Louisville Cardinals enjoying the broadcast as they are rolling towards another victory at home. They'll improve to 12-1 at home. The only loss came against Virginia in late December. That was the lowest point total of the season. They only scored 53 points. Scoring has not been an issue, especially in the last 2 games for Louisville. Levitch misfires. You're at 7 up to get it. Mitchell did a great defensive job against Smith that time. Just prevented him from driving past. Made him pass the ball. That's just a great play. Mathiang with the bucket. 12 points and 6 of 8 from the floor. 21 minutes of action. You know, Mathiang is not a guy who goes out and shoots jumpers and makes spectacular plays, but he gets around the rim and he can certainly score when you throw him the ball. Some contact in the lane, finally comes down to Dorn. Transfer from Charlotte, lays it in. And Mitchell's going to pick up the foul. We were just talking about Mathiang. He missed it, but he's right there for the tip. Doesn't get it to go, and because he missed it, North Carolina State's able to get out and go, and Dorn just puts his head down and is going to the basket. Mitchell brushes him there and gets called for the foul. Third personal on Mitchell. And Mitchell's value to this team, or his importance to the team, has gone way up since they lost Snyder and then Hicks. Mitchell's the guy that's got to be the primary ball handler. He's been fabulous today. Quentin Snyder missing his 4th game
in a row with the hip flexor injury. And Mitchell has picked up the slack for the most part. His performance against Pittsburgh was a career high for Donovan Mitchell. He had 29 points. Well, today he's got 28.
And Dorn is down in the middle of the lane. Is it possible that the net, somebody got their hand caught in the net? Is it possible that it was Dorn?
Wincing a little bit in discomfort as Boo comes out. Capita back in.
Really haven't been able to get a Boo involved in the second half. Jump shot. See, somebody's. No, okay, it was not. He just got, I think he got hit in the throat in that rebounding scrum. Boy, once again, Johnson tries to penetrate. Louisville just closes it down. The Cardinals have done a great job preventing that dribble penetration all afternoon long.
They have done it well at both ends of the court. Mahmoud, bit of a reach in.
And that's a really nice job that time by the Wolfpack, moving the ball from side to side and allowing Yurt 7 the opportunity to get position inside. And Mahmoud reaching over the back, that's why he gets the foul.
Don't forget Wednesday, Virginia Tech at Virginia, which is in a tussle with Villanova today. The second in-state battle is Florida State at Miami.
And remember, Miami just knocked off North Carolina at home, and now they get to face Florida State at home. And the Seminoles, who dropped a couple here after their great start in ACC play, that is a very difficult assignment for them, is to go into Miami and try to get that win.
Syracuse beat Florida State yesterday 82-72. Miami defeated North Carolina on its home court 77-62. That's after beating Boston College midweek for Jim Larinaga's team.
And a big opportunity for Virginia Tech playing at Virginia. It's another one of those things. You get a win on the road against a team like that, you certainly help yourself in terms of that NCAA tournament selection committee and the way they look at things.
McMahon tried to come away with it. Dorn was also grabbing at the basketball.
And how about that for a turnaround for the University of Virginia? They got to play at Villanova, and then you come home and you play one of your biggest, if not your biggest, rivals.
How about Virginia Tech, the way they started the conference schedule with a win against Duke? It's the same weekend that Georgia Tech beat North Carolina to get the season started. Then you can go on and on.
Well, I mean, you talk about teams that have really improved. There's another three, that time by Adele. But Virginia Tech is very exciting, and they get the ball up and down, and they've got guys who can shoot it. That is a very difficult matchup for anybody, even a team like Virginia playing at home with their stout defense.
You can also talk about Josh Pastner and Georgia Tech after their win against Notre Dame yesterday. What they have done in the conference is a complete surprise, even to the coaching staff and the folks in Atlanta. Shot clock at 4. Long rebound.
Dorn is lucky there. He just shoved Adele out of bounds.
Adele ended up in the front row.
Giving people money for over 75 years. By Food Lion, raising standards without raising prices. How refreshing. By your local Chevy dealers. And by Mellow Mushroom.
Inside this magnificent basketball facility, Louisville putting on a show today. And in command with 3:21 to go. Over 21,000 Cardinal fans in the whiteout. And they just blitzed NC State, which made a run late in the first half to cut the lead to 12. But Louisville ripped the locker room door off its hinges and came out and dominated the second half.
Well, both offensively and defensively. In the first 9 minutes of the second half, NC State scored a total of 6 points.
Mitchell bidding for his season high from three-point distance. He's already made 6 today.
Well, he's missed his last couple.
He could not miss in the first half, it seemed.
Roland, that was a pretty good job. He had two different guys flying at him. He waited till they each went by and turned, and then he was able to knock down the three.
Donovan Mitchell made 5 of his threes in the first half.
Oh, nice pass.
Unselfish.
But that's what I'm talking about with Mathiang. A great pass by Mitchell, but Mathiang makes himself available close to the basket. He catches the ball pretty effectively. And if you can get him the ball down there, he's going to score.
The healthy stat line for Mitchell continues to grow. 28 points, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 6 threes, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. And he's only turned it over twice, and he's played 36 minutes this afternoon. McMahon. Dan, I don't know if you see this as well in your travels. You watch a lot of college basketball and have for the last few decades.
Thank you, Tom. That's a kind way to put it.
But I was going to mention Mitchell. When you have a teammate and you're so connected, as he gets our local Chevy dealers performance of the game, when you're so connected to a teammate like Quentin Snyder, you play at a different level sometimes when that teammate is unable to join you on the court. Have you seen that?
Well, I think what I've seen, there's Snyder sitting on the bench watching, but Mitchell is a guy who just plays very hard. And I think he's a guy who understands that, all right, he's got to step up his game. He doesn't have to do everything, but he's got to step up his game a little bit with the loss of Snyder and then with Hicks.
He's trying to do everything, Dan.
Well,
Mitchell has probably seen his last activity for this afternoon, so we close out the line with 28 points. 6 threes to tie a career high for made threes. Levitt steals it.
Not only did he steal it, but as he was taking the ball out of bounds, he turned around and looked and made sure he passed it to one of his own guys.
You know, Levitt is from nearby Goshen, Kentucky. Not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy or the fastest. But he got the start today, second of his career, and was a key ingredient in this win today for the Louisville Cardinals.
Well, he's played very well. He was one of the guys who helped harass Dennis Smith Jr. so badly.
Made a couple of threes as well, but you mentioned Dennis Smith Jr. held to 8 points, Dan. If it stays there at 8 points, that'll be the first game this season he has not gone for double digits in scoring for NC State. What lies ahead for Rick Pitino? They have to travel to Chestnut Hill.
And they got to go to Virginia.
He's very familiar with that part of the country. And then Virginia, which has to take on Virginia Tech midweek at home. Miami, which just beat North Carolina, and Syracuse, which just beat Florida State. So take your pick, Dan Bonner.
I think you could look at anybody's schedule in the ACC, and that's the kind of thing that it is.
Just makes for such a wonderful mix of teams and outstanding athletes and coaches.
I think it's wonderful for the fans. I'm not sure that the coaches are so excited about it. They would like to have some nights off.
Oh, when they win games, yeah. In the end, though, it'll help. As we mentioned, 13 of the 15, top 70 RPI. And now the final 25 seconds. Henderson tried to anticipate out of bounds. And it is Louisville basketball.
Just a tough night for North Carolina State, and we said it early. If you play particularly on the road and you don't play well, you run the risk of getting blown out, and that's what happens, particularly when your opponent plays very well, as Louisville did.
Shooting 50% in the game from the floor and from 3. Coach Pitino's going to win his 409th game as the head coach of the Cardinals, and 763rd overall as the final seconds tick away, and they win it 85-60 over NC State. For highlights and must-see moments for this game and others, check out the ACC.com. Our next telecast Wednesday, Virginia takes on Virginia Tech. Florida State battles Miami. You've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference basketball on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports as the Cards win it over the Pack.